Hey, welcome. So glad you're here tonight. Thank you for joining. And let's see, we've got Mumsy in the house, and we've got Chalet in the house. So the time change, daylight savings didn't stop you from being here. So great. Yes, good morning to you. It's good evening for me. But yeah, woohoo! Alrighty, so today is travel vlog day, and I made a folder full of pictures um, of being of coast to coast road trip. Um, Now, I had actually had them in state by state folders, but then I would have to open up individual folders, so I just dumped them all into one folder, and hopefully, because pictures taken together will have whatever file name that the camera assigns it. Um, and, so hopefully there'll be clumps together, but it won't necessarily be, in chronological order. So let me get this ready. Daylight saving sucks. I know we don't have it here. So it's still 9 p.m., 9 p.m. for me. Oh, goodness. But yeah, some states don't do it. So let's see what we got here. We got a sunset. I think this might be, let me look at the folder. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Oh, it's all right. I could do it while we're watching. I didn't usually I spend time to rotate any pictures that need that, but I think I can do it here. It won't be a problem. Maybe Oklahoma or Texas, something like that. Nice little sunset. WWE voted it out, but you still have it. I don't know which WWE you're talking about, like the wrestling. Aren't they a WWE? So Florida voted it out. Oh, we voted it out, but still have it. I see. So California voters actually voted it out, but you still have it. Oh, that's a bummer. All right, so let's see what's next here. See, nice fine oil thing. They look kind of like big grasshoppers or something. I mean, you can find these in Oklahoma, in Texas, and in Bakersfield, California. Even Los Angeles has a few. Yeah, apparently we don't have any say. Yeah, the citizens don't have much of a say. The people at the top kind of just do what they want, don't they? That's kind of like that all over. This one, so let me see. I'm gonna rotate. There you go. I know this is Dulles Airport. I hate the name of the person that it's named after was like the first CIA guy or whatever, and he's a nasty piece of work. But the architecture of this airport was really cool. So I got a picture of the airport. I know where this is. This is New Mexico. And I don't know why this little, because when I looked at the folder just now, trying to see where that sunset was, I was like, oh my God, we've got Washington, D.C., we've got the oil pump next to each other. I don't know. Snow in the house. You made it this time. Great. Glad you're here. We're just getting started. So this is in New Mexico because these are two graves, like where Billy the Kid, like two people shot or something that, were supposed to be killed by Billy the Kid or something. It has something to do with Billy the Kid. All right. In Lincoln County Wars or whatever. Lincoln, New Mexico. Yeah. And then you've got this one. Legend has it that this hole was put here by a bullet from Billy the Kid's 6-shooter when he escaped. So basically, you had this two-story building, and as you're going up the stairs go straight up, and then they turn to the right. So there's like a little bit of a landing, and so they're on the second floor is where they were keeping him as like a jail cell, and um, this is where he shot someone as he was escaping, um, and that's supposed to be the bullet hole. But the guy says, they don't know for sure if it's the original bullet hole or if that had been patched up or whatever. That's why they say legend has it, but it's definitely the spot. And so then I think there was something about him going out to use the bathroom, or the guard went out to use the bathroom, or Billy the Kid was saying he was going out to use the bathroom, something about going to the outhouse, And so halfway between that building and the outhouse, they've got this plaque in the ground. J.W. Bell died here, killed by Billy the Kid in 1881. So, yeah. And this was a little interesting little sidebar. So this is my son, Danny. I don't know, he's 15 or 16 years old. He's a teenager. And I had already driven. So some of the photos in here are like me driving from California to the East Coast. Whereas this is, Danny flew to Washington, D.C., picked him up at Dulles Airport. That's where that picture came from. And then we drove from Washington, D.C. down to Georgia, and then across back to California. And as we were coming back, I don't know if we were in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I told him, I said, because I wanted to give him some independence. Like, it's not really the right word I'm thinking of, but like autonomy kind of thing, like in some decision making in the process, because we could go south from there. We could have gone south to like Austin and San Antonio and like see the Alamo and stuff, and then go across the southern part from there, go across to California. Or we could go north up to Amarillo and then cut across. And I told him, I said, or we could just go we could go straight across here and like right through the middle, like Lubbock and stuff. I think we might have passed through Lubbock before crossing the border into New Mexico. And anyway, then we would come out where that alien stuff is. Can't think of the name of the city right now. Where they have a museum about aliens. Not Area 51, that's in Nevada. But there's some place in New Mexico that there was some kind of big alien stuff back in the 50s. Some rancher saw something, and then the government was supposed to have taken them away. And so they've got a big museum there about aliens. And so he said he wanted to do that. And he said we do that, and then we could go up to the Grand Canyon and stuff. You'll see. So anyway, we're driving on this little. So I'm just looking at the road map. So okay, we'll go this way. We'll go this way, and so it was just a 2-lane. It was like a state highway, but it was just 2 lanes, and there was this, Smokey the Bear, a historical park, obviously Captain, New Mexico. And I was like, what is this? So we pulled over, and you stopped. It was interesting. Oh, you stopped at that museum. Yeah. So once we crossed, so we're in these mountains, right? And then we crossed, you kind of come out of the mountains. You probably went to Carlsbad Caverns because that's just south. And but anyway, so we pulled over. There's this little museum kind of thing. This is a historical park. Oh my gosh, the dogs are barking. Why does it always happen when I start? Let me open up my camera real quick. Just keep that open for a second. And so what we discovered is that there was a forest fire in this area. The firefighters found this orphaned little bear cub, and they named him Smokey. And they sent him to, somehow he ended up in Washington, D.C. in the National Zoo. And when he died, they put him on a train, I think, to ship him back here to be buried here. So his grave is here. You had to pay money to go in past so there's like a gift shop, visitor center kind of thing. You walk in there and you buy your tickets and then you go further. And we didn't buy any tickets to go further, but we learned all about it. And anyway, it was like this huge, everybody coming out to line along as the train. So when they knew the train would be going past, it was just this outpouring. And I always just thought Smokey the Bear was a cartoon, I didn't think it was anything real. There's my car. So this is, we're at a hotel, or maybe we're just at a restaurant, looks like there's a big truck stop over here with the big flags and stuff. When you're driving cross country, the truck stops are amazing. They have good food. They have, you can get your gas, your food. Yeah. Anyway, then I know the next picture is hail. There you go. See, we took pictures of the hail. All right. So then this is petrified wood. I don't know if we actually stopped at petrified forest or if this is just in that area in Arizona where they have petrified forest. And so if you've never seen petrified wood that has actually turned into rock, it's quite amazing. It's very interesting. Here we are at the crater. Does it have a name or is it just called the crater? I don't know. I don't remember. It's in Arizona. Just east of the Grand Canyon. Meteor crater. Is that what it's called? It's just called meteor crater, maybe. And so, yeah, this big crater was from a meteor that hit the Earth, and they think that it disrupted stuff so much that like a lot of dinosaurs and stuff went extinct. And you can see some buildings down here in the bottom, and they did like all kinds of the astronauts did training there before they went to the moon. Meteor crater, yes. And so yeah, there's Danny. Let's see what we got there. He is looking through the viewer. And then this was really interesting. Me and my art. So they just had this like wall with this big cutout, and you could like look through it. But I thought, that it's kind of interesting for framing, Then we met up with this lady, and her husband must be taking the picture. She's like a cousin of mine on my dad's side, and she lived like at the Arizona-California border near Hoover Dam. And so we went to this place. It says Jackass Junction here. I don't know if that's the actual name. There's something else, but there's a really interesting story about a young woman that had been kidnapped. Like she was in a wagon train, and she was just a teenager, or maybe 12 or 13, something like this. And there was an Indian massacre, and her and her sister were taken by the Indians. Her brother escaped. Her brother finally, spent years looking for her, finally found her here with this tribe here. But she had like adapted So here you can see them doing their little gunfights. Here's Danny with a burro, giving him a carrot. There's Danny shooting a gun at targets. Safety, safety. Now we go back to Utah. This is me on my way going east. This is Monument Valley, and it's a Navajo reservation, and it's just north of the Grand Canyon. And these are called the Mittens. These are buttes. I had to think. I was saying it's not a mesa. It's a butte, B-U-T-T-E, and so it looks like mittens, you know. Yeah, pretty. That's good. I should if I was gonna blow up a picture, and frame it, I would frame this one. This is pretty too. The sun. I don't remember if it was sunset or sunrise, to be honest, because I still had. I didn't stay there, but definitely that's a golden hour. It's either the morning golden hour or the evening golden hour. Oh, there's another picture of the mittens. Oh, well, maybe I did camp. Oh, look, there's a butte. There's my car. There's a tent. And this is my little ferry that I had. So I had this idea of everywhere I went, I would take pictures with the ferry. And I took a few, but then, I didn't always get it out to take pictures. Those are real butterflies. This is silver. I think it's silver. Maybe it's pewter. It's probably pewter. And then these are real butterfly wings that have been lacquered. It's really nice. Cool. Yeah, cool. Is there maybe that looks like the tail of a lizard right here. Maybe there's a lizard. Hopefully. You see, that's there's the tail, definitely a tail. Looks like its body comes around and there's its head. Yeah? Those were a couple of years ago, and the Indians still on the plateau. Yeah, definitely. Their reservation, they're still there. There's me in my car. That's a great car. Put a lot of miles on that car. I drove back and I drove cross country several times. There's my guitar. I've got a rope tying it down so it wouldn't blow out. Oh, look at my hair. I like my hair. So I must have been in my late 30s there, huh? Because I was 40 when I moved here, and this was just a couple of years before I moved here. There I am at Four Corners. So if you don't know, Four Corners is the only place in the United States where 4 states all touch, and that would be Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona. And I got a sand painting done while I was there too. Ooh, hop over to West Virginia. I thought this was amazing how they kind of made this amphitheater. I don't know what time of year it was, but obviously, there's a lot of geese. No people, but a lot of geese. So it's probably not summer. And, I imagine during the summer they would have live music. You could have plays. Just, yeah, it was a really nice space. I think I had already been to Cambodia. Or maybe it was after I came to Cambodia, I remembered this place and thinking, that Cambodia should have something like this on its riverside, on the Mekong River. Okay. I'm wondering if this is the Drake Hotel in Memphis. Maybe. What's the next picture? Oh, no, it's still, so this is a really famous bridge. because it was like one of the first infrastructure things for the Tennessee Valley Authority and the interstate system and stuff like that, if I recall. So anyway, I must have just took a picture of this because the architecture is so beautiful. It's like an Art Deco or maybe even Art Nouveau. Very beautiful building. But West Virginia. All righty. It's in Washington, D.C. This was just on display in the National Mall. If you've seen, I mean, I think there was one time we were doing a travel vlog. I was just showing some random pictures, and some of these you may have seen from Washington, D.C. But it was so colorful. I was like, oh, I love this. It's an example of like a truck from India. So there's woodwork on it and everything. No, this is nice. That can go either this way or this way. But you got the Washington Monument, the American flag. Yeah, I like the composition of this. It's just people waiting to go up in the Washington Monument. Another one. But the flag's a little bit more unfurled here. Let's see this way. Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, I like that. That's nice. And this is from the top of the Washington Monument. So this is the Jefferson Monument. And that's looking down the Capitol Mall. There's the White House. Looks like they had some construction going on. Is that just a light? I don't know. That's just looking up into the top of from where you're standing, just looking up into the monument, the top of the monument. Let's see, what's this one? So that's looking down at the Lincoln Memorial, which is hazy and you can't really see clearly. Let me go back to them. So then this way at the end here, the state capitol must be this direction. But it's hard to see. But at the end of this would be the state capitol. Okay. And then the White House. And then the Lincoln Memorial. A tarantula. If you don't know what a tarantula is, this is a tarantula. It must have been in the National Zoo. Danny and I went to the National Zoo. And oh my goodness, I was so sore and so like I had bursitis acting up in my hips. And finally, I mean, were we able to get a wheelchair or something? And he was pushing me around in the wheelchair, or there weren't any available. Something like that. I just remember I was in pain. I could barely walk, and he had to help me. I remember that. There's Danny and the Lincoln Memorial. Danny and the Lincoln Memorial. And this is the World War II Memorial. Up in part of the World War II Memorial. And I don't remember how many people these stars represent, but yeah, soldiers. Very nice reflecting pool thing with all these stars. It says something, mark the price of freedom. Yeah. I thought this was interesting. Oops. There we go. This is interesting. This is the Greats for like when it rains and for water to go down a drain. This is the grates over the drainage. And I thought, wow, such detail. And so they had different, like this says Central Europe, Battle of the Bulge, Remagen Bridge, something, blah, blah, blah. And my grandfather was there in France during the Battle of the Bulge, we can say, right? And what I found out, though, is that he didn't actually fight in the Battle of the Bulge. He was just south of it, but he was there on the ground, boots on the ground, at the time of the Battle of the Bulge, when all that was going on in France. He was further south on the border with Germany, and they went into like Strasbourg or something, one of those cities is like on a river. You cross the river. Your France is on one side, Germany's on the other side. And they were able to take that river and go in and occupy Germany. But anyway, that's why I took this picture. So this memorial had other, because World War II also had, like Japan and stuff. There were other areas. Wasn't World War II also fought in Africa? Rommel or something was down in Africa. They had all the tanks that were like, they got bogged down in the sand and they would make, whatever, World War II. Yeah. So anyway, that's why I took that. But I didn't know that then. I just heard that he fought in the Battle of the Bulge. So that's why I took the picture. Clouds. All right. This is Danny inside the Aerospace Museum of the Smithsonian. This is the outside of the like Native American building of the Smithsonian. Oh yeah, there's another. That's really pretty. It's a nice fountain. Nice building too. You can see how they have a cafe. The architecture on this building is really, really nice. And this is like Tennessee, maybe Tennessee. Just old tombstones, nobody in particular. Is that supposed to be that way or that way? Yeah, no, it's supposed to be that way. (1866), died 1866. I would say somewhere, I think though that would be Appalachia. Anywhere from Virginia to Kentucky to West Virginia, I said Virginia, didn't I? North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee. They all look the same. They all kind of look like that. Someone born in 1830 and died in 1869. I thought this was interesting with the progression of how the tombstones were leaning. I remember taking that shot. A nice pretty bird. Interesting shape of these tombstones. Life goes on, huh? To Elizabeth, our only daughter. I don't know what the dates are, but somebody cared a lot to have this really pretty tombstone. There's my car. This is Tennessee, and I think this is the Nez Perce Bridge. Let me look really quick. Nez Perce, ERC, bridge. Oh, no, those pictures aren't this. Mm. All right. Let's in Tennessee. Here we go. You love visiting cemeteries and reading the stones. Yeah. That's one of the interesting things as I was traveling. Because okay, there's two ways to travel. One is you've got every stop planned and you get from A to B, from A to B, from A to B, right? And that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But then there's also the way that it's like I had no timeline. No, if I saw something interesting, I could stop. When I went through Kentucky, I stopped at the Jim Beam Distillery because I just like look at the map to see, well, what's on the map. And I'm not, and this is before, like, okay, I had a cell phone, but not a smartphone. This was before smartphones. You had the internet, but not in your vehicle with you, right? My friend Sherry did have like a satellite GPS thing, but I don't think it would talk to you. It would, it was a separate Garmin or something, and it was a separate unit that you had on the dashboard. But anyway, and I saw on there Daniel Boone's grave in Frankfort, or just outside of Frankfort, the capital of Kentucky. And so I don't know if there's a picture for that in here, but yeah, and this is an old Civil War battle site. William Harlan. I forget. We can zoom. 1895 to 1979. U.S. Army, World War. (1834 to 1909). William Holland, Sergeant, something, U.S., something to do with his military. So all these bricks, the memory of maybe soldiers, to the memory of its, and what's on this side? Whoops. It's soldiers, Tennessee, and something brigade, greater deeds. Okay, so, well, this is Tennessee. Dedicated to the Irish of the Ohio Valley. Look at that. You've got the harp. You've got Ireland with four-leaf clovers. You've got a Celtic knot. That's probably St. Patrick. If they're this much into all the symbology of Ireland. I wanted to watch Darby O'Gill and the Little People with my class, so they could see the leprechauns, and there's dancing and there's music and there's banshees and all this kind of stuff, and the pot of gold and whatever. And but we couldn't find a copy that we could watch here. There's that one. Oh, look, we didn't see the gazebo before. Okay. So if this is the bunch, there's a series of black and white pictures. So here's a lake. It could be anywhere. Doesn't this look like the lake you go to for summer camp? Then you get to ride your canoes and stuff like this and everything. Yeah. Yeah, but I like the framing from the tree here. You've got some bushes here in the front. You've got this tree here. You've got this yeah, that's a nice composition on that picture. Penalty for littering up to $1,000 and prison. Oh, looks like there's Danny walking. River with some houseboats on this river, maybe. There's my dad. And I think this guy was his childhood friend. So my dad drove up from Georgia to North Carolina as my son Danny and I came down from Washington D.C. And we drove along like the scenic highway along the Appalachian Mountains from Virginia down into North Carolina. Then we got off of it in North Carolina to meet up with my dad so he could go visit his childhood house. So he could show me, who's interested in genealogy and all that kind of stuff, like where he grew up as a kid and things like this. And so this was a couple of his friends that we met up with. And this guy was a mechanic for Richard Petty. And my dad told me stories of growing up. And when he was going to sleep at night, he could hear the cars racing around the track. So the little local track that was in the city he was growing up in is like where Richard Petty started, So, and this guy took us over to Richard Petty's house. Richard Petty wasn't home, so I didn't get to go in and see his collection of cars like the Superbird in his garage, but we did go onto the property and saw it. Kellum, it looks like the set on Dirty Dancing. Oh, you mean this one? Yeah. Kellerman's. All right. So see the P for Petty. Here we are entering Steve Petty's property. And look, so once you're inside, you're driving. I mean, all this is part of his property. And so see, this is where that guy worked. It's here, because this is like the garage. And there's me. Home place of Elizabeth and Lee Petty, birthplace of Richard and Maurice Petty. So they're saying like this house was so now they've built a new house, right? But this was the original house where they were born, and his parents. Is that the same house? Looks like here's this fence, and then you see this house right here. Yeah, that looks like this. Oh, and there's the little, oh yeah, there's the plaque right there. Yeah. So there's the truck for like when they go take the race car. I think, to be honest, I don't know if, like when did Richard P. die? But his son is still a race car driver. What? Says he's 86 years old. He was born in 1937. He hasn't died? Okay, I'm sorry. I thought he passed away. Maybe one of his kids did? Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. He's retired, that's for sure. All right. Sorry about that. I was just looking on the Chrome. North Carolina Mountain Lake. Yeah, it does look. Yeah, I'd have been. Some people live a long time. Yeah. Wow. I am surprised. All right. Now my dad has visited this grave. Is I think his father's grave, Kyle Prevost. And so it was my dad taking a picture of the tombstone of his father's grave. This is the house where my dad grew up, and he was like the youngest of like 7 kids, or he had 7 brothers and sisters, and he was number 8. Oh, Mom, help me out if you remember. Something about 7. Either there were 7 total, or he had 7 brothers and sisters, and there were 8 total. But you know, we didn't go in or anything. I don't think anybody was even home when we went there. But yeah, he's just standing there in front of it. So that's where my dad grew up. Oops. There we go. And another house too. I don't know. Maybe that's where that other couple lived, or maybe there was another house a second house that he grew up in. You think 8 total? Okay, yeah. That like I said, 7 rings a bell. So if it was 7 brothers and sisters, that would make sense. I don't know what this house means, but this is a very typical house in North Carolina. Oh, actually, this might be Virginia. This might be a plantation house. And this was like the slave quarters converted. Could be that in Virginia. Because I remember when I took the pictures out of that particular folder, going, why? I mean, you guys know I like to take pictures of fire hydrants. But it just seemed out of place, like with the plantation houses. Oh, because see here, yeah, here's the big plantation house. So there's, you know, there's not that many left, you know, because people don't want to be reminded of that horrible part of history. And so a lot of them get, you know, dilapidated and then torn down. But this one's turned into a museum or something. I don't think we went inside. Okay, this is Alabama. This almost looks like a friggin' postcard. It's the George Washington Carver Museum on the campus in Alabama. Maybe Birmingham. Yeah, haunting. The Waltons. Yeah, the Waltons had a house like that. Or my dad growing up was like the Waltons. I think you're right. You know, yeah, Sue Bob, Billy Joe, blah blah blah. Good night. You know, with all those kids. Yeah, you're right. I know. I always thought of him as like growing up like Maybury, like, you know, but because I think this North Carolina town that he grew up in was very much like Maybury, you know, and the Andy Griffith Show. Although he would have been from a big family like the Waltons. Yeah. Interesting. Rural Virginia. Yeah. They were, yeah. Near Appalachia. I think kind of in the hills, like the foothills of Appalachia. Anyway, so it was really interesting because, you know, growing up in elementary school, we learned about George Washington Carver. It's so funny because it's like now you have to have Black History Month and all this kind of stuff. And it's like as if white people weren't taught about Black people in history. I'm like, we learned about Sojourner Truth, and, you know, the Underground Railroad and George Washington Carver, Martin Luther King Jr., you know, it's not like they were like, we didn't learn. And I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, so it was very diverse culturally. You know, there were some Black kids. It wasn't a majority, but there were some Black kids. There were some Mexicans. There was some white people. There was a lot of, you know, maybe a couple of Asians. You know, it wasn't like it was all white. There's Danny. Anyway, it was really nice going to this college and learning. I learned a lot more, even more about George Washington Carver, because what he did is he was really invested in helping Black people after slavery to be able to be independent and to grow their own food, and because they'd just been like picking cotton or whatever, right? They weren't, and maybe they had their own little vegetable, but they became sharecroppers, right? And he did a lot of scientific experiments and stuff on, tomatoes and corn and beans and whatever, on all different kinds of crops, and like where they grow the best and the best time to plant, and how to get the most from your crops. And then he made booklets that he would distribute out to people. It was really fascinating. And we also, I don't think there's any pictures, but just before we got to the university, we stopped at the Tuskegee Air Force, where the Tuskegee Airmen were based, and went to that museum. You were obsessed with pioneers. Oh, your town was like Mayberry, but bigger. But that simple way of life, yeah. And I mean, hey, with Little House on the Prairie, I went through a pioneer stage as well. It's just a nice building on the campus. Another view of it. Had to get a picture of the moss in the trees, right? This is throughout in different areas in the South. This particular moss in this tree might be in like the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, like around Biloxi, Mississippi. Yeah, because this is Frisbee golf. So you got to throw your Frisbee to hit it in here, and these chains will catch the Frisbee if you hit it right, So it was Frisbee golf, and this was at a campground where Danny and I stopped before going to New Orleans. You like the tree. Yeah. All that moss is really beautiful. So I had to get a picture of the moss. Here's a close up of these. So instead of hitting a ball into the little hole, you throw your Frisbee to hit this thing. And this is the Gulf Coast. Typical house. And what's interesting is I had never been to Cambodia yet, but this is basically the same kind of houses that Cambodians live in the countryside. They put their houses up on stilts, and they're about the same size, only they have a little bit more, design edges like on it. But same, but different. Oh, this picture is here. You know what we got to do? Here we go. Come on. Drag the, why aren't I, oh, there we go. Save. Just save it. So you see what I did? Water is always level. So here's your photography lesson for today. Water is always level. So you don't want to make this line on this street straight and then the water is off. The water is always level. See, now this one I did freehand. It's pretty level. Maybe just a little bit off, but I'm not going to take the time to fix it. So in New Orleans, Danny had this little passport book thing, and it's a U.S. National Parks passport book, and So you see, it says National Historic Park there, and they give it you with it. You get this list of all these different places that are national parks that who knew there was a New Orleans Jazz National Historic Park, and the ranger's job is to play jazz music and educate people about jazz. I mean, what a cool job is that? So yeah, we found lots of little off, it's like, oh, well, we're going this direction. Is there some place we can stop to get another stamp in the passport book? You know, and this guy was funny playing the banjo. He would, well, they both were. They both had really good attitudes, they love their job. So then this is in the French Quarter. I don't know what restaurant this is or whatever, but I just took it to get the typical ironwork and everything that's typical of the French Quarter in New Orleans. Probably better if it wasn't this car, but whatever. And it was like the whole block was this building. And then here you can see the whole street. It was rainy. But that didn't stop us. We still had fun. And we went to the Café du Monde. If anyone goes to New Orleans, make sure you stop at the Café du Monde and have beignets. And I'm sure there's a picture later of the beignets. They're like a donut. They're like a square donut with powdered sugar on it. So you have café au lait, milk coffee, and beignets. Oh my gosh. Of course, this is the cemetery in New Orleans. So we're back. So all the black and white pictures aren't together. I guess there's different sections. Oh, there's an alligator. So this is interesting that I think I first stopped at this little zoo kind of place. It's like a roadside attraction, see the alligator kind of thing, and with Sherry. So it's right off Highway 10, I think, between New Orleans and Houston, like halfway or something. Still in Louisiana before you cross the border into Texas. And so then when I was with Danny, I was like, oh, I knew this was, I already knew it was there. And so we stopped, and there he is holding an alligator. As you can see, he's excited. And then this is a turtle or a tortoise, it's like a sea turtle. They live to be like 500 years old or something. And they're like, and they can go under the water and hold their breath for like 5 hours or something. So they can sleep underwater and then like wake up to take a breath, but it is quite an amazing creature. An accident. We weren't involved in it. I don't know. Just ended up taking a picture because we had to wait to get around or whatever. Citizen journalists here. Oh, give me the camera. Take some pictures. There's the crunched up. So Danny, I guess, took a pic. Oh, maybe Danny took all those pictures while I was driving. No, because some of them were out my window. Anyway, so Danny took a picture too. And my friend Patrice. So she lived outside of Houston. So when we were in Houston, we went and we stopped and saw my friend Patrice. And she was my friend from high school, way back when, back in the 80s. But so, yeah, we're friends on Facebook now. But I'm not always on. I'm locked out of Facebook. It's like asking me to sign in. Like all of a sudden, I don't know if someone was trying to log in to my account, and then of course they didn't know my password or whatever. So then it locked me out, and and anyway, it's like giving me problems trying to log back in. And that's her daughter. her daughters. That's her son and my son, Danny. That's her and her kids. It's me and her other kid. All right. Justice of the peace. I wonder if it's that. Oh, that's too clean to be that other old West town. Oh, this is crooked too. Because you see, this pole is straight, right? But the horizon is at an angle. You need to make your horizon should always be straight. And then if that pole is leaning forward because it's like going in, anyway. Oh, maybe it's the town of Calvert in Texas. So swarming ox carts and cotton wagons, busy stores and saloons, casino tables stacked with gold. This was early Calvert, a major cotton export and trade center. The community began as Sterling in Sterling C. Robertson Colony of the 1820s. It was the center of mustering and military supply activity in the Civil War from 1861 to 1865. When Houston and Texas Central Railroad route was established here in 1868, the town was moved 2 miles to the right of way and renamed for Judge Robert Calvert, pioneer Texan, local landowner, benefactor, and civic leader, and a descendant of Lord Baltimore of Maryland. A blue blood, huh? Interesting. And there's David Bradley. So we met up with David Bradley in Fort Worth to say hi. And so there you go, David Bradley. You guys have all heard the stories of David Bradley. We just had lunch and then we went on our way. But it was nice to catch up and say hi. Is this in New Mexico? The Billy the Kid stuff? I think it is. And there's the crater. So these are some black and white pictures. And he's shooting. Oh, there's the Cafe du Monde with the beignets, with the powdered sugar, and drinking the cafe au lait. He's like, yeah, looking real excited. It's like, smile, Danny. There he is eating one. They are really, really, really good. Oh, there's me and Danny. That's nice. Look at the photo bomb with this guy. It's like he's raising his coffee, making sure he gets a good picture in. He's like, Mom, you think so? Sure. He also looks a lot like his dad, I think. But yeah, there's bits of me in there. This is New Orleans. This is a famous church in the middle of New Orleans. And then that's the river. And then they've got this berm here to try and keep from flooding. And where I'm standing, they've got like these is a big wall with gates that can close in the case of a hurricane. And they actually used them when Hurricane Katrina. In fact, Hurricane Katrina was only like 6 weeks after we were here. And I don't know if I have a picture of those gates. Oh, here's the streetcar. Had to have a picture of a street. That's my only picture of a streetcar. But there's a streetcar in New Orleans. Yeah, I'm not sure if that picture is here, but I know I took a picture of those gates. Let's see what this is. Oh, no, go back. Zoom, 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 move, zoom, zoom, move. When New Orleans was the capital of the Spanish province of Louisiana, 1762 to 1803, this street bore the name Cala de San Luis. They say San Luis or San Luis? I don't know in Spanish. Interesting. Oh, what's this say up here? Oh, it's the Napoleon House. Interesting. French Quarter. I bet it's hopping during Mardi Gras. There's Danny. There's that church just behind. Wouldn't it be nice to have your porch look like that? That's beautiful. Church. French Quarter. French Quarter. There's a cannon. This is just showing some of the ironwork on the gate of the, like that Civil War battlefield. Which freeway would this be under? Does this billboard? Whoops. Oh, I bet it's in New Orleans. Because in here we're still in, wait. Oh, was that ironwork? Actually, why is there's a cannon here though, and there's a bunch of trees. So that doesn't look, that's not this graveyard. They got somebody has their tomb with grass on it and a deer. Interesting. Danny's taking pictures again. And yeah, just more of an overview. There's the car. Chrysler Sebring. Excellent car. I remember, I know I showed this one before, Shelley. I know you said you like this one. Yeah, this one is really interesting. You have a lot of depth of field going on too, because this part here is more in focus compared to the rest. What about down here? Maybe, whoops. Yeah. I think the focus is down here in this area, but I've blown it up out of focus. But like at normal resolution, like I think this area is actually more in focus. But compared to the back, then this whole cross is pretty much, yeah, you love it. Yeah. All right. Interesting. Texas, near Amarillo, just outside of Amarillo, the Cadillac Ranch. I think there was some Route 66 pictures I showed you of this, but I think that was with Robbie Love on them. This is my first time going out there. That's a nice picture. I need to see, maybe I could like make money having some of my not all of them, of course, but some of these pictures, like some of these on, websites where you pay for the use of pictures. If someone's looking for Cadillac Ranch, they need a picture of Cadillac Ranch. I've got these pictures. They could buy the use of them. And many of them, just as an example. That one's pretty good. And we've got that big cross that was also in the Route 66 one, but with Robbie Love. But this was my first time driving by. That's nice. Memphis. So this is Sun Studio, where Elvis and others recorded. It was the recording studio where they recorded a lot of their music. And of course, they've got like a little gift shop in there. You can go through you can pay money and go more of a tour. You can even like record your own like demo, kind of like do like a karaoke in their studio, and then they give you a tape of it, I don't remember how much that would have cost. So then this is probably Beale Street. Yeah, there you go. It even says right here, Beale Street. which is like the famous nightlife street of Memphis. Memphis being known for the blues. There's B.B. King's Blues Club. There's a fire hydrant. There's a horse and carriage with a dog. Hey, Andy's in the house. Andy's in the house. You missed the first hour. Are you off on the daylight savings time? Or were you just busy with the dogs? There's just some guy playing his guitar, playing the blues outside a barbecue. That's a nice fire hydrant, but my picture's not clear enough. This is Graceland. It was closed. I didn't really care. I probably wouldn't have wanted to spend the money to go on a tour, but at least I've got a picture of Graceland. So the gates look like this. And yeah, so I can say I've been to Graceland, even though I haven't been inside. Didn't see the jungle room. And then like on the side, on the bricks, a lot of people have written, their graffiti on these bricks. That's a nice picture, actually. Oh, you had a medical response this morning. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope so. I hope somebody's okay. I hope it wasn't too traumatic for you, whatever happened. Well, I'm going to get your mind off it. Look at the pictures. This is in Kentucky. It's where President Lincoln was born. He's often known as being from Indiana, but he was born here and then his family moved to Indiana. Oh, yesterday morning. Oh, jury duty this morning. Oh my gosh. My mom sent me a letter. She said, or she called me anyway, and said, "You've got a letter." My residence is my mom's house, right? And it was for jury. I was being called for jury duty, and they said, if you've got a problem, then you got to like call this number or whatever. So I had to spend like $10 making international call to call them, and or no, I think they let me. I wrote an email. There was an email, so I wrote an email. And then they wanted all kind, send us a picture of your passport, send us a picture of your visa, and blah, blah, blah. And then I finally got an official email back saying, okay, you are excused from jury duty. And saying, yeah, it's I'm in Cambodia. I don't think I'm going to make it. Anyway, I think that this monument is built around a log cabin. And inside it, when you go inside, there's a log cabin. This is probably the state capital of Kentucky in Frankfort. And I think this, if you look, we look here in the corner, you see the tombstones. I'm probably at the Daniel Boone graveyard. This is Lake Powell. Talk about plateaus. This is a plateau. But yeah, Lake Powell behind, on the other side of the Grand Canyon. So this is in Utah. This was like on my way to the Navajo thing. Now that we saw that picture with the tent, I know I camped. So that must have been the evening golden hour, because this was the morning and I drove over there to where the mittens were. Chalet in the house. Another picture. Oh, look, is that a dam or a bridge? Do they have a dam? I'll look it up real quick. Lake Powell Reservoir. Yeah, it's a reservoir. So they have to have a dam there. Let's see. Where? Page, Arizona. Glen Canyon Dam. Okay. So you can just barely see GTSY. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm getting better. So you can see right here, or we'll zoom in. There's the Glen Canyon Dam. Isn't that fun? I can zoom. All right. Oh, and there's another angle looking the other direction. You can see the marina here with all the boats. There's a black and white picture of the mittens. Another one. Another one. Another one. Getting that horizon in different spots. You know the rule of thirds, right? So here's a third, and then like here's a third. So you should have, so it's like, that's kind of in the middle, kind of put that, there's a lower third. I think that's the best. That's more of the third. Trying to make sure, because I'm just doing this through with a 35 millimeter film camera, like a Canon, and just looking through the viewfinder to try and get, you know, where do I want the horizon, and is the horizon straight or not, you know? Sometimes you got to take a couple just to make sure, because you got the film. It's not like digital where then you can kind of look and zoom and this and that, you know, and you've got the hash marks for the rule of thirds, you know, that you can turn on or off. You know, no, this is 35 millimeter. You know, so until you develop that film, you don't know. And with black and white film, I developed it myself. Shake, 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 swirl, 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 shake, swirl, swirl. If you've never developed film, you don't know. Don't worry. Well, that's pretty. Right, but when you've got the golden hour, it's bringing out the details for black and white. That's pretty with the sunset behind it. I didn't realize there were this many of mittens. There's the entrance where, like, the Navajo, they have a whole visitor center. It was a really nice visitor center. They had things about the Navajo code talkers. They have a lot of Navajo people that tell their stories, and there's lots of arts and crafts and things to buy and food and oh, look at that. Look at the sun ray, the sunset ray right there. Oh, that's and look at how it's like dark here, and you've got that burn thing going on. Oh, wow. That's a nice picture. You'd Shiprock. It's not, oh, let's see. I still have this Lake Powell thing open. Just a second. Utah, Arizona. Oh, by the way, the Glen Canyon Dam is actually still in Arizona. You know, there's Lake Powell. Navajo Mountain. Monument Valley. It's called Monument Valley. And the east and the west and east Mitten Buttes. Yeah, Monument Valley. I had to look it up to remember that. Oops. Yes, develop some film yourself, how to kit all the chemical trays. I know, it's fun. I love it. I love doing it. Yeah, isn't that the ray? Let's zoom in on the ray. Because, I mean, I can see it really good. Put it like that. Yeah. Wow. All righty. What else we got? Oh, that was the second one? Oh, that one I did just of one mitten. Yeah, the other one's better. Oh, there's my tent so you can see that I'm camping right nearby. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. If you need a picture of a butte, just a random butte, there you go. Shiprock is in Mount. Oh, maybe that one is Shiprock. Oh no, it's in not New Mexico. Wow, it's beautiful. No, it's not Shiprock. Shiprock is more pointy, by the way. Da 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 da. All right, what's next? What's next? Oh, just a close up of Four Corners. Route 66, New Mexico. I think that's in is it Temecula? Is that a town? I'm looking it up. Temecula. No, that's in California. Tucumcari. That's what it is. Tucumcari, New Mexico. Yep. So that's Tucumcari. You know, it's like a Cadillac fin, right? Arkansas. Oh, there it is in color. Somebody had their car all done up like this. How to get a picture of that? That's funny. And this old thing. Yeah. Dell's restaurant since 1956. American food, Mexican food, salad bar, gift shop, open 7 to 9. Next to the Travel Lodge. There's the Cadillac Ranch again. That's kind of a nice, as far as wide shots go, that's actually kind of nice. There's me. Hello. My head, the shadow of my head right there bothers me in that picture. And there's the big Texan right off the main highway. What is it that you, is it 70, 10, 50, highway 50? I don't, which, let me look. Amarillo, Texas. Dun, 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 dun. Highway 40, that's what it is. So Route 66 is Highway 40. I'm sorry, I had like a brain fart on that, but I had to get it right for you. And so this is right on Highway 40, and they have like a big thing that, like, if you can eat this 72-ounce steak, you get it for free. Like, if you can eat it in less than 30 minutes or something, then you get it free. And it's supposed to be like really like bad for you, healthy wise. Get your kicks on Route 66. And then this was just some guy that was sitting next to me, and I don't know, we fought over the straw or something. I was like, oh, hey, let's get a picture of us both holding the straw. I don't remember the whole story. I still have this shirt here in Cambodia. Oh, and this was my room that I stayed in. So the big Texan has like a little motel right next to it as well. So I stayed in the motel, and this is what the room looked like. Look at that. You have like saloon doors into the bathroom. This was the outside. Looks like this. So that was really nice. Because sometimes I just sleep in the back seat of my car. Well, maybe not on this part of the trip, because look, my back seat's full of junk. But I just like put the seat back and like sleep in my car a lot, I didn't mind. I didn't care. And but then sometimes, it's nice to have a bathroom and a shower, splurge a little on a hotel. Looks better on the outside. Yeah, but it was all that theme stuff, Oh, look at this. They have a free limo. World famous steak. They do have good steaks, though. Oh, and this is that place with that cross. Pampa, Texas. If you need to know. Pampa, Pampa, Texas. Dedicated to the sanctity of life and loving memory of the innocent victims of abortion. Oh, and then you have Jesus holding like a little aborted baby in his hand. And then the Jesus on the cross with the two thieves. Sun Studios, different view. One, Beale Street. This guy was selling popcorn. I bought some popcorn from him there on Beale Street in Memphis. Where's the Drake? I don't have the Drake. There's the busker that we saw before. Oh, okay. So there's a hotel called the Drake. I don't think it's called the Francis Drake. I think it's called the Drake. The RAKE Memphis. The Drake Hotel, Memphis. I'm just looking it up. Oh, it's called the Peabody. So the name of the hotel is the Peabody, Memphis. All right. You can look it up. I'm looking at Google right now. I know you can't see it. You're looking at the ducks. And the Peabody ducks are 5 North American mallards, 1 drake with a white collar and green head, and 4 hens with less than colorful plumage. So let's look at the picture. So see, there's the drake with the green head right here. And there's 4 hens. I don't know, there might only be 3 in the picture right here. The other one might be walking around someplace else. And I think this is up on the roof, because this is their little house that they have. They have their own little hotel that they can go inside. So they live up on the roof of the Peabody Hotel. And then every day at a certain time, there's like a butler type concierge butler guy, all dressed up in the livery, and that walks them down. They go in the elevator from the roof, in the elevator down to the ground floor, and they walk through the hotel and to like a little caged area, kind of like a little fenced off area, and then or maybe the fountain. I don't know. I don't remember exactly, but and so they've got like a red carpet or whatever rolled out that goes from the elevator doors to wherever in the lobby, and people line up and they take pictures and video of these ducks every day. That's their job. They come out of the elevator and they go to their little area, and then at the designated time, they go back up onto the roof. And you can also see them up on the roof. I saw them do their little parade. And I think I also went, this looks like it's up on the roof. And this is probably the view from the roof of the Peabody. Also in Memphis, the Lorraine Motel. If this doesn't look familiar to you yet, what you want to be concentrating on is this area, these stairs. They park this car here, kind of like as a museum type of thing. They have this car here. This is where Martin Luther King Jr. was shot. And there's your close-up view of it. Yeah, so that's also in Memphis. Yeah, about the ducks. I know, isn't that cute? I didn't know anything about it until I'm like I don't know, maybe the guys on Beale Street told me about it or something. I don't know. But you know what else was in Memphis? Both Crystal Burgers and White Castle. I think it's the only city where they have both, because most places, there's like a line, and if you're north of that line, it's White Castle. If you're south, it's Crystal Burgers, and they had both of them there. And then some people having some kind of protest. That's it. Done. All righty then. Hour and a half. I hope I didn't bore anybody. I know that sometimes, the old joke that when people want to show gather everybody in the living room, and they've got the literal squared slides, and they do a slideshow, a real one. Does anybody remember that? Does everybody think slideshow just means a PowerPoint presentation these days? Do they know the origin of slideshows? And then everybody, so it's a big joke that, nobody wants to watch the slideshow. Not boring. Oh dear God, yes, you remember. Yeah, always fun. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad, because like I said, those days, thank goodness, are in the past, and now this is my new form of slideshow. And I guess if people don't like it, they can just go find something else to watch on YouTube. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow, if I'm not doing anything, maybe I'll do something about like Delphi and what's going on there. Because I'm sure you guys are up to date on it, but it's quite interesting. And who knows, maybe there'll be even a couple more filings going on. I don't want to talk about it here because it's our travel vlog, but Carol Burnett ending song comes to mind. Oh my gosh. Let me see. All right, I should Carol, see if we can find it. Burnett ending song. All right. So before I play it, let me share. Okay, no, stop sharing that so that I can share a tab with the audio. I doubt, please don't give me a copyright strike. I'm so glad we had this time together, just to have a laugh or sing a song. Seems we just get started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say goodbye for so long. Okay, I'm gonna end it there because it says it's 2 minutes, so I'm gonna play it. Oh, it's still. I'm like, why do I still hear it? Because it was playing on my computer where I could hear it. Hugs, ear touch for moms. So, in case you didn't know, love transcends time and space. So, whenever and wherever you are watching this, I love you. I hope to see you again. And got a few new subscribers that have been showing up on, every day. There's one or two more. So that's kind of exciting. And I'm going to do another. It seems like people are still commenting and really liking the one I did showing Choi Chung Var, the area, like where's the best place to live in Phnom Penh. So I'm planning to do another video about the Phnom Penh Riverside, and not about living there, but just like what is there to do there, and show people around the riverside. So I'll do another one of those. But yeah, well, let's see how I feel. I'm not guaranteeing about doing a crime one tomorrow, but maybe we'll see. And but for sure next week, maybe a crosswords on the weekend. I don't know, but you got me on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays for sure. So make sure you mark your calendars. All right, love you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.